Is it going? I can't tell. Seems like it is. Well, let me make sure that this is going. Yep. Let me see if I can. Why can't I see the chat? Okay, I can see the chat. I can see that I'm broadcasting. Butterscotch is feeling very needy today, but that's okay. Just doing a few more things for setup. Oh my gosh. Okay, so since I'm going to be taking the full stream to color this, I decided that I'm going to do gradient map coloring. Now, what is gradient map coloring? It is a filter. Oh god, she's coming for me. What is it under? Oh my god. It's tonal correction, that's right. It's under tonal correction in Clip Studio Paint, gradient map. And I will make a quick example of what it does. So, if we have a, if we have a perfectly medium color gray sphere, and but we want to shade the sphere, I'm gonna look the layer. I'm gonna put in some dark shadows really simply in the airbrush. Shadow on the bottom, and then highlight on the top. And then you want to say there's light bouncing up from the ground, so you give it a little, well, I prefer to do it a little more, yeah, like that, lightly. And then like an extremely bright highlight on the top of like some shine. So, if we want to change this grayscale image into color, one way that we can do that is with the gradient map. So what this will do is replace the color on the grayscale scale. So if we say middle gray, we want that to be pink. And the brightest white, we want it to have just a little bit of a blue tint. And then the bottom, since we went for blue shadows, you want to go across the color wheel, or blue highlight, you want to go across the color wheel and grab like a dark green, which this is probably going to look like ass, but there. It replaces the, like, with this method, you can make your shadows and your highlights colorful through grayscale, which I know sounds complicated, but it's really not. I'm do it again with like a better set of colors, because what I normally do for this, we'll make it like a fleshy tone, so don't think about it too much. Like a flashy color, and then on the highlight, what you normally want to do is go like blue and orange is generally best. So we're going to make a really light blue, and then we're going to go an orange, so it's like more of a brown. And then you can look, because there's like a preview, you can be like, the shadow should take up more, or the highlights should take up less or more, and you can kind of mess with it until it looks right, and then say okay, and it'll just do it for you, which is cool. Now, how do we, oh, I opened the wrong one. I opened the PNG. How do we get this to work in a big piece like this, where a lot of things are going to be different colors. Hello. How's it going? I've sort of given it a little lesson in the technique I'm going to be using. So the way that I do grayscale to gradient map coloring is that I do it all in layer folders because that makes it a lot easier. So what you're going to want to do is start with the central color. That's going to be the base color of whatever item piece. So for one new layer, we're going to want to pick everything. I'm going to say everything that is going to be his hair. Well, we should start with the darkest color because I don't know why. It just works out better like that. So that would be his coat. So you go through and you get, I think, yeah, the inside of his coat is probably the same color. You get all of the coat. Sleeves included. And then the paint bucket is never super accurate, it just gets the big bits, and then you gotta go through with a pen and make sure that it has everything. So you want to make sure that every bit that is going to be the same color, in this case the dark black gray of his jacket, is on the same layer, and it's all colored in mid-tone gray. And you see when you paint bucket in two sections that are like next to each other, for some reason, you see how the line art is like not completely filled in. You gotta kind of draw along behind it and make sure that it filled it in, and then sometimes I just miss a spot. So fill that in. Like, this is the most tedious part. You could see I don't know if you could see that, but the line art is kind of off, or it's like it doesn't go completely under the line art sometimes when you're doing it with the two chunks that are back to back on the same layer of the same color. And it will also screw things up if you're trying to put down a lighter layer next to it, or a darker layer next to a lighter layer will screw it up sometimes. So that's why I like to do the darkest layers first. Not that it really matters in the grayscaling. So this is the coat layer. I like to just go through and like complete one layer and then move on to the next one. I know sometimes some artists will fill the whole thing in with the different layers and then do like all the shadows and then all the midtones and all the highlights. I just do it like one layer at a time. So first thing what we want to do is figure out where the light source is coming from. In the cell shaded version, we did it like coming from up here. Yeah, that's still fine. We'll just, I'm gonna like, what layer is this? Yeah, background layer, sure. I'll just throw this up here to remind myself where the light's coming from. So what you're gonna wanna do is create a new layer. It's gonna be for the shadows, and you wanna click this, which clips it to the layer below, which means that since this is shadows, it's gonna be like dark. But this means that this is a whole new layer, but I can draw like that. It'll only go on to the layer below. So if I took off clipping, you can see it goes all the way across, but like that, it's only gonna clip. So now I'm gonna go through and fill in the darkest shadows, but I'm also going to be using, what? No, I don't want color mixing. I want, oh, my tools. I wanted to figure out which blender I've got going. Okay. This is a blender I got off of Clip Studio Assets store. It's the K Blender Main. That's one of the most just go through. Honestly, best advice I could give: go onto the Clip Studio asset store, and just like get some of the most popular brushes and try them out and see if you like them, because a lot of them are really good. So we're gonna start with the darkest shadows, and so like under, oh, and then when you start doing it, you'll find even more little spots you missed. Go in and you find the darkest spots. So probably both of these. Oh god, I can just see that this is gonna be bad. Duck. Yep. Okay. Pick up the shadow that we're using. And so for cloth, you're gonna want some pretty sharp shadows, but they should still, oh, that's too big. Should still kind of taper out in the ends. And especially good for like shadows that don't have a line art going with them. Something like that. Still feels too big. So, also, I think I'm just doing too dark of a shadow to start with. Yeah, I thought I'd be clever. I'm not. I'm just undoing it. I'm just gonna lock the layer. So you start with the medium, and then you go down halfway between the medium and the bottom. And so this is the mid shadows. That's what I'm going to start with, not the darker shadows. So mid shadows are going to fill in like a lot of the dark space. Yeah, that's better. So you don't want it to get too muddy. You still want some crisp parts because it's not a super round shape. It's like the rounder something is, the softer the shadow is going to be. Whereas for cloth, it kind of, there's a good mix of both. Because while the general cloth shape is pretty round, a lot of the folds are sharper. I'm trying to remember, like it's coming down from up top, so since this is the like base shadows, and for cloth folds, it's best to just soften one side and not both sides. So like that or like that, and leave the kind of sharp edge along the bottom there. But this, since it's like rolling over into the collar, soften the whole thing and make sure that the shadow actually sticks and you don't just accidentally blend it away. And when you're working with soft stuff, you want to switch to a soft eraser, sort of clean it up. Alright, this will be more apparent what I'm talking about when I get into the big ones, like on his chest, because this is a fairly fitted and tight coat. It would have a lot of wrinkles across the chest, so it's like the shadow is the fold, and then the blended bit is like where it kind of goes out into the rest of it, and then clean it up a little. Yep, and then when you're doing this, you're gonna find little bits that you did not get. So this is supposed to be the shadow of the, what do you call this, collar and the cravat. And there should be a little bit of blending, but not too much because it is like an object. And then you're going to want to have creases coming back from the other direction, and then here you're going to want a sharp eraser and not a soft one because you're cleaning up the thing or the shape and not just the edge of the blend. Oh, they got too big. The problem with blending is that when you get to the edge of the thing, it'll just like bring in the fact that there's nothing from the other side. It kind of, I mean, hopefully you can see what I mean. I'm not great at explaining it. And so it's going to be like coming up here towards this button. These are very small creases. So you want to use the line art as sort of a guide for how these, or like where the biggest creases should be. I'm thinking like have a crease coming from around the inside and it kind of meets there. There we go. And another one that's kind of like from this one. Too big. Sometimes you have to get really delicate. Some of these are not looking so hot. I kind of have a big soft eraser because it helps keep things smooth. I think the blender I'm using is not doing me any favors. I might just go for the regular blender. Yeah, alright. This is the other thing that happens a lot when I draw, is that I do something and then I'm like, oh, no, I did not enjoy that. Although, for this one I'm just gonna hide it and start over, and then if I decide that I like the old version better, I can go back to it without just straight it. Alright, let's go for 15 on pen. And then how big is this? 20, that's way too big. We'll go for like 10. I think you blur. Whoa. I swear it's supposed to be blend. Maybe it's too small. I swear I know how to do this. We'll try the mild one. Jesus, mild my ass. Yep, that's not what I wanted. I swear, Clip Studio just recently updated to like 2.0 version, and now I'm like, how do things work? Badly. Feck. Try this one. Oh, way too big. I should probably check that before I use it. Okay, I think this one's better for like cloth. Maybe not. Fuck. I know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna try doing it on something else, so. Because maybe I'm just getting in my head about it and driving myself insane, as I always do. That's slightly better. I think I want to go back to the cave blender. Yeah, there we go. This is just gonna be a lot of me silently coloring or shading and like being really absorbed in what I'm doing. So feel free to talk to me. I do have the chat open. I'm just like, I don't know why like coloring really or shading really puts my brain in another space. I usually just like listen to YouTube videos or podcasts or something and go nuts. So the light's coming down from up there, so we don't want too much, but I think there would be a little bit in there. Blends out. And you can see how there's like this weird little poop on the edge here. That's because the layer below the grayscale or the medium gray is not filled in properly. Oh god, I used the blend tool like a champ. Don't use the blend tool, use the pen tool so that it actually fills it in. Alright, and then I just grab the gray I was working with from there. So you can kind of see what I'm going for on this sleeve more than what had the disaster that was the coat. I will go back to it in a minute, but I think I just need to get my process in down a little better. Yeah, and you see there's more line art issue right there. This is a fairly round shape, but there should be some cloth creases. And then go in and soften one side of cloth crease. Right. And then, because this is round, soften it. Maybe soften it a little more, especially like coming up from here. Yeah. And then I'm going to go back down to the bottom layer. I gotta catch these when I see them, or else I will miss them. And we will come to the final render, and they will still be there, and I will cry. Okay. light's coming down from that way, so shadow would probably be, no, that's just part of the line art. So it's like a round cylindrical shape is very easy to shade. And you're gonna want, even though the light is coming down, you're still gonna want just a little bit of shade to show the round shape. Then you're probably gonna go back in with a soft eraser, smaller soft eraser, and like make it very small, just on the edge. And then we are going to do some of this and hope I don't have flashbacks and screw it up. So yeah, you're gonna want the shadows to go beyond the line art. Consider the line art like the darkest part of the shadow. Okay, remember this is just the like base shadows. We're also gonna put in darker shadows and highlights. So there's another level of shadow, there's another level of there's 2 more levels of highlights. And we have more problems right here. So we're gonna fix that. Alright. I'm not as big a fan of these creases anymore, so I'm just gonna take them out. And bring that around like that. And this needs to be bigger blend. The rounder the shape, the bigger the blend should be. And the smaller the blend, the smaller the object, the smaller the blend should be. Because it's like the amount of shadow that's rolling over the edge of it. This is probably all going to be filled in with base, or like mid shadows, I guess is what this is. Just don't forget to save. Okay, so we're gonna want to first make sure, that none of the other stuff I did is coming up onto this part. And then we're gonna give some form to these stitches by putting in like a little tiny edge. Show that it's like the cloth is being pulled in at that part. And then go through and do the other side. But remember that the light source is also coming down like over here. Oh, you can't see it. And then a little bit of very small, oh, that's not soft. Very small soft eraser to put in the highlight on the edge. Around the bit that's like sticking up on the edge, and then just a little tiny bit. Oh, that part is a problem with the base layer. There we go. Make sure that's all filled in. Grab the color from down there. And then just like the tiniest blender. To There we go. And yeah, I work. Hey, I'm in the weeds, in the details. That is kind of the both the upside and the downfall of digital art, is that you will get lost in the tiny details all the time because you're allowed to just zoom straight the fuck in and forget that he even like has a face. What? No, this is a drawing of a jacket. Okay, so since the light source is from up and above, I'm going to ruin some of that extremely delicate work I just did to give it more directional lighting. I need my eraser. Okay, so now it looks very soft, very plush. And we want to keep that because it is a very nice and high quality Charlene Philosopher's coat. Speaking of, I'm going to pull up my references image to make sure I'm not getting anything wrong, although I can't really at this state. Alright, more extremely tiny. So the light is coming from up and behind him, so it is sort of like these would be almost to like this point, just completely filled in, but of course we're having more layer issues, which I'm going to fix. And then grab this color again, and then get a little blendy boy. Did it smear a little too much? Yeah. No, way too big. We want these to be kind of rounded, so we need to have the like little highlight on the top go through a little bit. And then we are up into the hoodie. The hood of the hoodie. So you want to use the line art as the darkest part of the shadow and then build off of it from there. Also keeping in mind that the light is coming in from behind. So a lot of this, since these are mid-tone shadows, they're going to be covering like a lot of the front bit of his stuff. Also, you'll see me hit undo just a bajillion times. Another reason I cannot just switch to, honestly, I swear to God, when I do like traditional media, my drawing skills drop like by 50 points because I gotta be able to undo my bullshit, okay? So these little like light spots, that's where the underlayer is not properly filled through. Like it just does that sometimes, so I gotta go fix it. And I gotta is this up here with that too? Yes. Okay. It's like I gotta fix these when I catch them, or else they'll just, I can't remember where they all are. And they will just never get fixed. Okay, so I think it would, yeah. come down like all the way here, and it would probably, no, we'll just do blend. Okay. So we'll move on to the other side. Like, I tend to prefer to watch these in a time lapse because it really is just a lot of very slow, tedious work that is not very exciting to watch. But I do try to, like, give little tips. I don't know, I could tell stories. I saw the new Dungeons and Dragons movie yesterday. I was entertained by it. Which really, isn't that all you can truly ask? It was the exact amount of silliness that I wanted. I don't know if anybody was like expecting something serious, but I thought it was great. They had some really great practical effects in it. I don't think there's anything, I don't think there's even any blood in it, so I don't think it would be bad for kids. Like, there is violence, but I would almost call it like, there's violence with consequences, like people die and it's sad, but like it's all very cartoony, you know? But look out, because when we went to see it, we saw it at AMC, and they had a preview for a fucking Stephen King movie called The Boogeyman, about a monster that literally comes for small children in front of it. And there was a little girl sitting like 2 rows behind me, and she was just, I was like, oh no. I like heard her being like, Dad, what's that? Dad. And he's like trying to cover her eyes. I'm like, oh God, what the fuck? That's not cool. Sir, I don't care if the trailer technically doesn't have any, like, gore in it. That is still a terrifying idea to put in the mind of a kid who's come to this PG movie. Like, if I had seen that as a child, I would have to leave the theater. But I was a huge wimpy kid. I would say the only thing that I didn't like about the movie is that they had 2 characters that I thought were obviously queer, and then at the end they're like, yeah, well, we're gonna get together, or like, we're dating now, and I'm like, ew. Absolutely not. But I'm excited to see that Boogeyman movie. It looks extremely spooky. And that's exactly the kind of scary movie that I enjoy. I love paranormal, supernatural shit. And I love, like, dark childhood fairy tale stuff. But, like, I know that if I had seen that as a child, it would have destroyed me. Yeah, I did like also that they did some clever stuff with the D&D mechanics. They have to like pull off a heist, and the way that they use the like magical objects was really fun. Yes, I love everything by oh God, what's his name? The director of that, and he also did Bly Manor and Midnight Mass. And I also really like Oculus. And I also like Dr. Sleep. I know a lot of people weren't so into that, but I loved it. I would recommend it. Mike Flanagan. And the Midnight Club. I would recommend anything by Mike Flanagan, but I do think The Haunting of Hill House is probably his best. I think Midnight Mass is excellent, especially if you have some religious trauma to work through, or just are of the existential sort, to worry about life and death and ponder all of that. I think that Bly Manor is very good if you like ghost stories as tragedies. Hill House is very good for if you have a family dynamic around addiction, or you have had trauma in your family, generational trauma. Very good, very cathartic watch. I think that the Midnight Club is fun, but also you will cry. And is also a lot about like life and death and that kind of stuff. Oculus is just a mindfuck. I don't... Hill House hit me very hard. Hill House is still my favorite. God, the one take episode, oh my god. That just destroys me. Especially the ending. Yeah. I kind of relate to Nell. But yeah, it's like if you start with Hill House, that's the best one. So, but I do really love the others. It's kind of like the best out of Some Incredibly Genius stuff. Alright, let's consider where the sun's coming from. Oh, there, so this should be darker. Should be more like this. So I'm getting caught up talking about movies I like. See, the thing is, I canceled our Netflix subscription when they canceled $18.99 because I really wanted to know what the fuck was going to happen next. And I'm just so sick of them canceling, like I've watched, because I like horror and I also really like paranormal stuff, and I love like a good paranormal mystery, and I like want to know what it all means. Netflix has been making so many shows that are like, ooh, who killed this person and why is their ghost so angry? And then they just like, oh yeah, no, now it's canceled. And I'm like, ah. I think one of the actresses that was in Dungeons and Dragons was in one of those Netflix shows that got canceled that I really liked, and I was very upset. It was I think it was called I'm Not Okay With This. She's a girl with psychic powers, and she's also but she doesn't know how to control them, and like she's figuring out that she's queer and she's getting bullied for it, so she's trying really hard not to go like full carry on people. It was a very entertaining show, and I really liked it, and it ended on like a cliffhanger, and then they were just like, yeah, no, it's done, it's over, goodbye. And I was like, but of course, Stranger Things is eternal. I'm like, you have a bunch of other shows that are just as good as Stranger Things, but you don't let them have as many seasons. Why? You son of a bitch. No, my recent obsession was definitely The Last of Us show, which I haven't played the game because we don't have a PlayStation, but I have like watched so many playthroughs of it, like long before a show was ever announced, like years ago. So I'm watching The Last of Us show with that knowledge, but I'm sitting next to Ward, who has no idea what happens in The Last of Us. That was kind of fun to be like, did you know? Did you guess? But yeah. Horror is my favorite genre. I don't know why. I have not had a hugely traumatic life. I just I don't know. I think that for me it's like I like oh shit moments, and I find that horror tends to give me the most oh shit moments per minute. Whereas action is a pretty close second for that. Although, and like I'm one of the people who does not mind blending horror and action. I know some people are like, oh, it's not scary if they can beat up the zombies. I'm like, but zombies are still scary, and what if they get overwhelmed? It can still be a horror. And like, yeah, oh shit per minute. It's really, like, that is the most important thing to me. Like, I really like to have moments where you just go, oh shit! And like, I really liked, oh god, Barbarian? New horror movie. Because while it did not have the most oh shits per moment, it had the most potent oh shits. And like, the first 30 minutes, there's not many, but then in the latter half of the movie, they're just coming fast and hard, and it's a good time. Yeah, I did. You can't even see my face. I need to be, like, engaged. I need to be, like, grabbed. That's that's my favorite. Well, like, one of my favorite horror movies is REC, R-E-C, Record, the Spanish version, not the English version, although the English version was fun too. I just really like the true insanity that the Spanish version goes to, and I also think it's a bit more unique. Oh, and I love REC 2, and I'm subscribed to Shudder. Shudder doesn't have part 2, and I'm like, where is it? Where is it? I liked all of the REC movies. I know that they get, like, progressively less connected to the first one as they go, but I thought they were all a blast. They were all a really fun ride. And I know that, like, they ditched the found footage premise in number 3, I think. But I still enjoyed it. I also really love found footage movies that are, like, super committed to the bit. Meaning that, like, there's never any part where you're like, okay, who's filming this? What is this? Like, to me, I'm like, no, because I did go to film school. And so I notice film techniques, I guess, a lot more than the average person. So, was it Deadstream? I watched Deadstream a little while ago, and I really liked it. Yeah, that one's fun. That's what I mean. Like, they committed to the bit. Like, it really made it feel like it was a live stream. Yeah, I liked that one. I like, I really liked Cloverfield. I had that on DVD. I used to watch that all the time. Because they really committed to the bit on that one, and like they really thought through like where how the camera's like getting moved around and all that stuff. But my favorite found footage horror, well, it's a toss up. They're both Japanese movies, and they're both, I would say, not for the faint of heart. One is called Noroi, which means curse, and it is on Shudder, and it is actually the reason why I subscribed to Shudder in the first place, was to be able to watch Noroi and support it. And it is like a Japanese TV station's reporter, like, died, like, his house burned down, and then a week later his TV station gets mailed his videotapes, and so they're like going through it, and they're actually like making a TV program out of it, and so that's what you're watching. And that one's really good, extremely creepy. And the other one, oh god. Oh yeah. Oh, there's a Billiam video about lost tapes that just came out that I literally just watched. Oh my god, that show's goofy. Oh. See, now I'm trying to remember what, because the other movie that I really love, it has like a really generic name. It's not Possession. It's like, Yeah, I gotta search for this. Yeah. What? Found footage movies. Yeah, Noroi. Oh, Cult. That's what it is. It's called a cult, which is extremely generic name for just a buck fucking wild movie that I really like. And yeah, I was a child of the early 2000s when I really got into horror for the first time, so I was like obsessed with J-horror. And also at the time, I was going to film school in San Francisco, so I lived literally like 2 blocks away from Japantown. So I would go over to the video store over there and rent J-horror movies that like nobody had ever heard of. It's actually how I first saw Tomie and Ju-on. I saw Ju-on before I saw Grudge. And got a lot of Takashi Miike's other stuff. I guess I was just so fascinated by the like the hopelessness of it, I guess, because American horror was always like, yeah, we beat the ghost and everything's okay. And Japanese horror was like, nope, you fucked, son. Oh boy. Ju-on, I don't think it aged that well. Like, the effects are not that great. It's more just the oppressive atmosphere and like the Ju-on 2, the sequel, literally kept me awake for like a full day, because I'm gonna spoil one jump scare, and although it's not even, this is the thing, they don't do jump out jump scares, they do notice something in the frame jump scares, which I think are way worse. But there's a scene where a character is watching a TV, and then he turns it off, and then in the reflection of the TV, there's something behind him. And like, oh my god, I was watching this, on a CRT in my little dorm room. So that night I was just laying there staring at the black shiny screen like, I don't like this. But I did like it, and I kept coming back for more. I really like Cairo because that's so apocalyptic. And it's so, like, I like horror movies that actually have the guts to end the world, you know? Like, yep, we had a good run, everything's fucked. Which, yeah, I also like Cabin in the Woods, but I think every horror fan does. And I saw that in theaters, I remember. That was a lot of fun. Oh gosh, what are some of my other... So, usually when I'm drawing, I have movies on in the background. And so I can't have anything that is foreign language because I can't read the subtitles and draw at the same time. And usually I'm like, well, it has to be kind of talky because I can't stare at the screen. I'm drawing. So, God, I've just been kind of going through Shudder's back catalog of hilarious garbage. So I haven't really watched many good movies recently. Although, now I'm starting to, like, try to get exercise, so when I'm on the exercise bike, I'll put on, subtitled movies or good movies I can pay attention to. Right now I'm in the middle of Green Room, which I'm literally having trouble getting through, which is rare for me. It's just so horrible, intense, and it reminds me too much of, like, true crime. Not a fan of the true crime. Well, I'm a fan of listening to people talk about true crime. I'm not a fan of, like, watching it. I don't think I could do the standing desk, but it's hilarious. I bought a like standing cycle
But the seat hurts my butt too much to use for extended periods. So instead, I just used my office chair, and I like turned the thing around and like pedal from my office chair. It's too painful, man. Oh, I tried so many things. I bought like an extra pad. I was like shoving pillows in there. I bought like special bike shorts that are supposed to help with butt pain. I could not take it. So I will take my cushiony office chair. But yeah, it's kind of hard. It's also like, what do I pick that I'm only gonna watch like, 40 minutes to an hour of? Because I have to get in the shower after I'm done exercising. I do not like being sweaty. Alright, I think this side could use a little more. Yeah, it was funny. I was like complaining to a Word about it over text, and then I like realized that I could use my office chair, so I like sent him a little video of my legs pumping from the office chair, and I was like, Galaxy Brain. Pro gamer move. Yeah. I started watching the Chucky TV show. I realized that I don't know shit about Chucky lore. One second, I gotta take off my sweater. It's getting toasty. Although, to the show's credit, it does kind of explain everything that you need to know as it goes. Which is nice. Oh god, I've been doing this for an hour and I've gotten his capelet. That's the problem with this method, is that it is extremely time consuming. Sun's coming from over there. And then a bit of these. So yeah, I'm always on the lookout for new horror media to watch. Especially, well, there's a lot of things that I like wanted to see in theaters, but then like they just never seem to come to streaming. And let's just say I'm not very savvy on the high seas. And I don't want to pay $19 for a movie. I have no idea what it is, if I'm even gonna like it. Because the other thing is, like, I don't want to know anything about a movie before I see it. I want to go completely blind. Speaking of, you guys see that Skinamarink movie? Holy shit. As an ex-film school fucking grade A. Oh, why isn't that blending? Did I just? I'm gonna have to go down the other layer. As a pretentious film student, wow. That would have been right at home as a student film, but also I thought it was very innovative and cool, and also I will never watch it again. Highly do not recommend for anybody who has kids. I was a kid once, and I'm still traumatized by it. I think it was very cool because I've never seen anything so accurately capture a nightmare before, or to meet what my nightmares are like, what a nightmare feels like. because to me, for some reason, when I'm dreaming, my dreams always seem to be kind of out of focus and like dark. So, yeah, it was very interesting. It's a hard watch, not just for the scary content. It's also it's got a strange film style wherein they don't ever focus on the action. They're kind of always filming the background or like something that's off to the side. You never see the kids' faces. You only see their feet. Or like their arms or things like that. And honestly, like, because also the thing that I do once I see a movie that I think is interesting, I immediately like run to YouTube and all the film analysis channels I follow to see what other people thought of it. And apparently, a lot of the things that I thought happened to one kid happened to the other, because I couldn't tell who was what or what was going on. But still, it's more about the emotional experience. It's not about the beat-by-beat plot, which is something you hear a lot in art house circles. But I think it's very true for that movie. And I just think it's cool to see like some experimental shit getting like a wide release. And some buzz. Because I love good cinema. I also just love trash. Absolutely. I'm a raccoon and I will roll in it. And scream happily while I consume it. Honestly, there are times when I'm like looking at movies to watch and I'm like, oh, I can't watch this. This looks like it's actually gonna be good. I'm not in the mood for something good. Where's my trash? See, the kind of the whole side over here should be shadowy, so because the sun's coming from above, and so I feel like that much would probably be, because these are the mid-tone shadows. See, once I get to his face and stuff, it's gonna be a lot easier because he's not known for a wrinkly face. Sharknado's pretty fun. I kind of like trash that's like not trying to be trash is my favorite. But I do occasionally love some intentional garbage. There's nothing I love more than sincerity and camp. I had that the other day with this movie. Shoot, what was it called? It was on Shudder. And it was like this Air Force pilot. What the hell? They like don't wanna. This is the soft brush. Oh, the brush density got turned down by my wrist. Excellent. Air Force pilot gets like dropped and like her plane gets shot down over Afghanistan, and then she finds like a secret Russian bunker where like evil alien mutants that like fight people that like no karate live. And it was like it was not good, but it was kind of great. It really felt like a bunch of stunt actors got together with their friends and like made up a really silly plot and like made a movie together. And I enjoyed it. Now I cannot remember what it's called. It's like Bunker 13 or Site something like that. But yeah, if you like garbage but like tasty garbage, that's a good one. But I don't know. I also just like bad horror movies. There's something so entertaining about somebody being so sure that they're scaring the shit out of you and just absolutely failing at it. My favorite over-the-top horror movies, not all of them are bad though, is definitely the James Wan stuff. I would say his like Conjuring and
the sleepy stuff. The one where the kid's in the coma and the astral projection. I like those ones too. Insidious, that's it. This is what happens when you give your horror movie just generic names. Nobody can remember what the fuck they are. I like Insidious, I like Conjuring. I really love Dead Silence. If you want to see just an over-the-top, insane horror movie that is campy as fuck, but in the best way, absolutely Dead Silence. It's also got, not Mark Wahlberg, his brother, whose name I can't remember right now. I also really like the Final Destination movies. I think those are fun, trashy horror. Some of them, like the third one was really, really bad. But I really like the first two. And I really like, maybe it was the fourth one. I don't know. Whatever the most recent one they did, I really liked that one too. So yeah, I like pretty much all kinds of horror. Like I'll watch like the really scary like French Extremity stuff, and then I'll watch like the really goofy stuff. And I don't know. There's like no genre of horror that I hate. I'm not super big into like slasher or like home invasion stuff generally, because I find that to be a little too real and almost like, I don't know, I don't like to feel voyeuristic of like, oh yeah, this is what really happens to people when they're in a horrible situation. I'm like, no, I'd rather it be ghosts, please. Ghosts or demons. Zombies, if you got them. I'm down for the zombies. Gosh, I remember one of my favorite movies growing up. I saw it in theaters in high school. Was the Dawn of the Dead remake. That opening, holy shit. I literally bought the DVD and like I would just put the opening on every now and then. yeah. Well, it's also like I watch a lot of true. Well, I really don't like horror movies that are like, this is based on a true story. I'm like, what? Let them rest. Jesus Christ. Sir, people died. Please stop. But I know that like 90% of the based on a true story is like absolute bullshit. It is completely not. And, yeah, man. Every now and then I watch a movie and I'm like, oh, it could have been so good. Like, I've just been watching a lot of Shudder movies lately, so Superhost was one I watched. And, like, the main, like, I guess you would call it the villainous actress was just fucking killing it, absolutely nailing it. But if you stop to think about the story for even 5 minutes, it didn't make any goddamn sense, so unfortunate. Yeah, I am kind of getting tired of now it's always like YouTubers going to get killed in horror movies, and I'm like, yes, of course, influencers would be the idiots willing to risk their life and like stay in the haunted house or like not leave when they should to try and like get some clout. But like, come on. Can we at least have a fun take on it? Can they at least not be like a couple vlog that's having like problems, and then like the twist is that the girl is pregnant, because that just seems to constantly happen and I am very tired of it. I would like to see some skateboarding videos gone wrong. It's like the new thing in horror movies. Or, well, no, they've had it in a lot of different ones, but it seems to be in a lot of found footage movies. It's like, oh no, now we're trapped in this haunted asylum. Girlfriend, what's wrong? Why are you throwing up?
Oh no, the stakes have now been raised because girlfriend is pregnant. She is Purgante. And then, like, the whole thing is like, oh, it's too late for me, but save yourself and the baby. I'm like, ugh. Fuck them kids. Like, oh, you should have thought about this before you did any bullshit. I wonder who did it first, so I can blame them. Bibu, what do you want? What? If you want to get back up in the bed, you can do it yourself. I believe in you. I already gave you teas. It's like, I like a good, like, pregnancy allegory horror movie. Those are good. I am generally like they expect I'm gonna be like, oh no, she's not just a woman, she's a pregnant woman, she's in double jeopardy now. And I'm just like, talk to me when it's a child, and then I'll care. Oh, that's literally my pencil hitting the my Apple Pencil hitting the screen. I have a setup to actually, maybe I wonder if I can change it out now. I have an adapter, but the problem is that I hadn't charged my tablet, so I have to use the port for the charge cable, but now it's up to 72%, so maybe I can switch. I don't know if this will work on the stream, but we'll see. If not, I hope I can just change back, or I'll just restart it. So we put this, and we put it here. And I think if I go into settings, where's the like voice or something? Oh my god, Bibu. Oh my god, well, let me see. Okay, wait. Yeah. It's going through my Yeti mic. Does that sound better? Cool. Alright. Thank Ward for buying me that attachment. Adapter thing. I am technologically illiterate. Oh my god, Bibu, what do you want? What? It's giving me the violent headbutts. At least no TVs have come out yet. Can I assist you, madam? Okay. I think down the edge of this, we're gonna need some shadow. Oh my god, she's coming for me again. Bibu, what? You better not start biting me. No respect for my time. Oh, you know what was another fun found footage horror movie that was comedic or Spree. Spree was really fun for that. It's got Steve from Stranger Things as like a demented Uber driver who live streams his Uber driving, but it's not going well, so he decides he's gonna have a killing spree to get viewers. So that was funny. Yeah, is that the it's the oh god, what's his name? Uh, it's like the film reels, right? Sinister, the oh god, I can see his face. Uh, yeah, I can't remember his name at all. Fuck. It's that movie will forever have my respect because as a film student, I had to work with Super 8 film, and there's a moment where he like pauses the Super 8 film and like me being a pretentious film snob talking to Ward, I was like, "Oh, you do that, the film reel's gonna burn," and then it did, and then it burned, and I was like, "Oh, accuracy!" You can't leave a projector just beaming light onto Super 8. It will light on fire. I wonder if people who don't know that just thought it was supernatural. Ethan Hawke, that's his name. Yeah. The first one was good. I liked parts of the second one. I really like that actor who plays the cop in the first one and the main character on the second one. And like there were good scenes, but it just did not really capture the magic of the original. I think part of that was also because they showed more of the evil tapes. And I think what worked so well in the first movie was that they really didn't show you very much at all. That it was all left to imagination. The only thing I wasn't a huge fan of was the hilarious slow motion ghost kids. I thought that was kind of goofy. But, you know, I'm willing to let a lot of goofiness go when it comes to horror movies. I'm just like, oh, we're that kind of horror movie. Okay. I'm down. Please proceed. Because I thought you were going for like a serious murder drama. But no, no, absolutely not. Alright, I'm on board. Let's go. I think these need to be softer because I don't think this side is being pulled as tight. It's like I have a really hard time picking like a favorite movie ever because my tastes change a lot depending on my mood. And one of my moods is hello, yes, I would like to watch garbage. Which does not lend itself well to picking quality films. I should probably be more from because the sun's coming from that way, so it should be more. Whoop! What happened? No. Oh my god! Oh. Okay. Yeah. More like that. And then we can can soften it a little bit, but it's still a pretty sharp shadow because it's coming from an object. My wrist. Now I'm not wearing a sweater. My wrist keeps like tapping layers and moving to different layers, but at least now I can generally catch it faster because I'm not just inking. I've never seen 47 Meters Down, but it gets marketed as a horror movie. I think that the nearest one that I've seen to that would be the Crawl. It's like a crocodile movie, which I would classify a bit as horror. Monster movies, right? It's kind of hard to like decide what counts as horror and what's just like, thriller. People classify Jaws as horror, so Crawl was really good. I really enjoyed that one. And minor spoiler for anybody that wants to watch it, I did go to doesthedogdie.com for that one. The answer? No, dog does not die, and it's great. More movies should be brave enough to let the dog survive all the bullshit. Honestly, I'm a huge horror movie fan, but I still, every time I see an animal show up in a horror movie, I'm like, don't, no, leave the puppy alone. Oh, I'm really sick of the cliched, like, oh, the hamster died. That's the first sign that something evil's in this house. And I'm like, ugh. Which is why now I think that it's subversive to have the animal live. And so therefore you should do it. And it improves your film. But yeah, man, I have a lot of extended family in Florida. That's where my dad grew up. I'm not a fan of crocodiles, man. Like, I think sharks are cool. Like, I was big into sharks when I was a kid. Sharks don't hurt people very much at all, and when they do, they get sensationalized to fuck, and it's like, crocodiles, way more dangerous. Extremely more dangerous, and will actively be like, tasty. And will actually, like, eat you and, like, hunt you and, like, drag off toddlers and stuff. Oh man, I love lizard folks. But, crocodiles IRL, terrifying. Just make your lizard folk based on a cute lizard, like a bearded dragon or a gecko. Butterscotch, what? What? Do you just need me to acknowledge you? You headbutt my legs, and then as soon as I look at you, make him a bearded dragon then. Those are scary. They got spikes. Skeely. They got that face. I just like a little more irony in my barbarians, I guess. Last time I played a barbarian, I was a halfling. Bearded dragons are adorable. I'm on the, I follow the Bearded Dragon subreddit just to, like, see the pictures. They're so cute. Oh! They're very popular pets. They're very cool. They're cool little dudes. They're very chill. But that's true of, like, all lizards, pretty much. And they just make the funniest faces. They got that big triangle mouth. Butterscotch is just going after. Okay, I'm gonna pick her up and put her on the bed to see if that's what she wants. I'll be right back. Come here, you gremlin. Is it food? You just really, really want food? Okay, fine. You can have your extra serving right now. You better not beg for more later. Oh, that's so cute. I love snakes. I think they're adorable. I could never keep one because I also love mice. I would much rather have a lizard that I can feed crickets because nobody likes crickets. Yeah, right now it's all Butterscotch all the time. Although, when we first bought Butterscotch, I had a hamster named Pepper. And the two of them would just kind of sit around and look at each other. So she would probably be fine if I got a lizard. I don't think she'd try to eat it. Like, she literally does not even hunt bugs. I think that we, drove the prey drive out of her by having a small prey animal around that she was not allowed to bother. And I cannot believe that I have been streaming for an hour and a half and I have not even finished his jacket. Not even one part of the thing on his jacket. Ugh. If you want to know why painterly style commissions are so much more expensive than cell shading, this is why. What was that? Pew. We're having a squeaky tantrum. You already got what you wanted. You did. She's sitting next to her bowl like, yes, but there could be more. Where are you going? She's just standing under my chair. I can feel the unused Tephius closing in around me. What's up, baby boo? That wasn't what you wanted? That was absolutely what you wanted, don't lie. Maybe that was her tsundere way of saying thank you for the kibble. Probably not, but I can pretend. Okay, so the sun's coming in from that way, so this side should be pretty bright. Also, he's got like one sexy leg out, so we're gonna want some big sleeping shadows to show that this is dipping in to where it kind of goes between his legs. Mm-hmm. The big shadows down here too, because there's not a lot of little crinkly folds. Thank fuck. And this is pretty much completely shadowy. Mid-tone shadows. These look like they're a bit fucked. Yep. Do this little bit here, which I mean is mostly gonna be in shadow. So it's like this bit that is going down. And then under his ass, the butt shadow. Are you serious right now? What? I don't know if you guys can hear her trilling and meowing at me. She's very quiet. Trying to speed this up just a little bit more. Oh, that's way too big. got you. I got you. You come here. You. Oh, oh. I'm gonna curl you up into my arms. Oh. What is it? Why are you like this? Huh? No, I caught you fair and square. You're mine now. Oh, your breath is so fishy. Look, go hang out with your dad. Go hang out on the window. Yeah, see, it's nice and sunny. Okay. I think we're actually getting close to being done with the jacket. Jesus Christ. Although, to be fair, that is like the biggest thing and the most complicated thing in this picture, so the rest of it should be faster. I tend to start with usually the most complicated thing first because it makes everything else feel so much simpler. When I do like when I use this technique or when I do like a big complicated piece, I always think about that fucking line from Napoleon Dynamite of like, I spent 4 hours shading your upper lip. I'm like, fuck off. We do though. It's all worth it for your the undisputed best husbando. The #1 best boy of Final Fantasy XIV. No disputes. Hey, this is my stream. I make the rules. I say Garaha's the best boy. It was over before it began. You know it to be true. There is only one true husbando. And his name is Garaha. I swear to God, I'm gonna draw him shirtless next time. Because this coat is driving me fucking insane. The reason why I wanted to do the coat instead of his usual outfit, because I was like, oh, his usual outfit's so complicated. But also, I just think that these coats are cute. I wish we could see Garaha in his student days. I bet he was adorable. But then I was like, you know, it'd be great if I showed them how gradient mapping works. I could at least do basic demonstration of how it works. At least on the coat, probably. Oh my god, base shadows are done. Thank fuck. Oh, no, wait, there's this little fucking thing. I forgot his little dangly bit. Yeah, I might do Harfshunt at some point. Although probably shirtless, although I know that's not a downside. Because I'm really sick of drawing clothes right now. Everybody's naked because I don't want to draw clothes. Alright. What time is it? Oh god, I've almost been at this for 2 hours. Okay, I'm just gonna try and do like some quick extra deep shadows and a few highlights so that I can show you how gradient mapping works. So for extra deep shadows, you kind of want to go in places where like probably no light would be hitting. And get some deep dark shadows in there. I don't think there's too many areas like that. Maybe like under here. I think it's being blocked by both the thing and his legs. And then like in here. Just like any really big blocks of shadow. Probably use a little bit of extra darkness. Like maybe in here. Or especially like shadows for things that are already in shadow. Like his sleeve is in shadow from his body, but it's also in shadow from this capelet. So there should be a little extra darkness right in there. Maybe a little bit in here. And a little like on here to give the chest a little more roundness. I thought I heard Butterscotch doing something, but no. She's being good. She's sunning herself. She's sitting in the window. I have posted many a picture of her just leaning back in her regal floof. Maybe just a little bit like right there. Okay. And then you're gonna want to make a new layer. You go to halfway and you go halfway to the top. This is going to be the really broad highlights, so hopefully I should not be wasting a million years doing this. But you know, it's me. So we're thinking about like the form of things, like the tops and the areas closest to the light, especially on the close edge. Well, this would mostly be coming from the back. And then there wouldn't really be much highlights on this side of his body because it's all from up there. There would be a lot in here though. We're just gonna chunk them in real good. Let's move them out. Might want to make this even bigger. Okay. So then you're going to want to go in, you're going to want a new layer. And this is going to be like the very bright highlights. This is good for a lot of ugh, my brain just fucking left my skull. It's like I don't know what you call this, like very, very light. Like you get a little, almost like a little halo on you when you're close to a light source, or when there's a light source, like, or like right on the edge of stuff. And putting in just a little bit of this, actually, it adds a lot of dimensionality to the drawing. And it makes sure that you actually get a little bit of your highlight color in there. The only other place is probably down along here. Oh, no, that's too big. So you just want it to be very mild and not anywhere that the light is not directly hitting. When we get into like his face and stuff, because it's more round, we'll get into more interesting stuff with that. You can also do a sort of secondary light source, or like the floor bounce light up in like the little spots that kind of stick out a little bit, like that. Like any part that has direct line to the floor, although the chair is in the way, but whatever, we're just going to ignore that for now. You just give it a little pop of secondary lighting highlight. Here. Okay, so here we have a grayscale colored image. Actually, hold up. I think, see, this is my problem. Alright, I think that this bit here needs more darkness in it to finish out some of these folds. I think this just looks too flat. The thing is, when you keep them all on separate layers, it makes it a lot easier to adjust them individually, because you can do this like all on one layer as a grayscale image, but I find that kind of muddies it. And then like if you have a mid shadows that you're really happy with, and then you go through and you do something else but you don't like it as much, it's like, oh no, now I'm stuck with these because I've already drawn on top of them. What is this little bit? Oops. Is that you? Yeah, that's... Please stand. Okay. Alright. Okay. So, we have a grayscale image. How do we go from this
to colors. So what my method is I grab all of the individual layers and I hit duplicate layer and I move all of them up and put them in a new layer folder. Where are you? Oh my god, no. That was annoying. Select a new, create and insert layer folder. Okay, so they're all in the layer folder. Then I select them all.
And I hit merge selected layers. So now we have in this folder, we have the merged layers. That's all of them as one layer. And then in this folder, we have them as like little individual layers. So I have both. I like to keep both in case something goes wrong. But I hide the folder with all the layers. I bring this guy back. Now what I'm going to want to do first is decide what the color of the coat, what I want it to be. It's kind of a dark navy blue. So we'll grab that and we will make a new layer that is not the gradient map layer, and we will draw just a little dot of the blue. And then we're going to want to figure out what shadows and highlights we want. So the highlights I want kind of like, because we're in Charlian, I want it to be like a nice bright teal. So highlights, just put them up there. And for the shadows, I'm gonna pick this color again because you want to know the saturation that you're working with. So it's like right in the middle. I'm gonna swing around from my highlights to pick a shadow color, and it's gonna be like a dark brown, but you want to make sure that it's going to look good with the blue that you picked for the jacket. So that, yeah, and that should be good. Okay, so I'm going to draw another dot right here. Now we're going to go back to the grayscale layer. We're going to, well, first we're going to save. That's important. Then we're going to go edit, god damn it, edit tonal correction, gradient map. We're going to put one dot in the very middle, or one, I don't know, arrow, what do you call that? And then we're going to click this because we want to go to the color. And then if we click here, this is the color history, we can pick up the coat color. So you can already see that it's making it, the coat, the mid-tone of the grayscale is now this blue color. But the shadows look really muddy, the highlights are just plain white. It doesn't look great. So we want to go into the highlight color, pick it, and then in the history you can see the little teal highlight that we picked. Click that. You can see it's already looking a little better. Then you click on the the black, and you pick the brown shadows that we picked. And now I can look at it and be like, I'm not so sure about that. So I go back to the color picker, and now I can kind of mess around and see if there's one I like more. Maybe I want it to be a little more yellow brown, maybe a little more like a magenta brown. Yeah, I like that magenta. That looks nice. And you can also be like, I want the shadows to be deeper or like bigger, take up more. Or you can be like, I want the highlights to be more, take up more. But since you've been working in a strict grayscale, going from mid to halfway to top, mid to halfway to bottom, that will make the gradient map very well. So sometimes, you know, if it's a darker image, you want it to have more shadows, or if it's a brighter image, you want it to have less. Okay, you get. So yeah, great. It's great. So we go okay, and now I have turned this into this with the magic of filters, or with gradient map editing. And then I could, if let's say that I really wanted this coat to be plaid, which I sure as hell do not, but let's just say I do for some godforsaken reason. I go in, I pick a green, I set this layer to overlay, and then I can be like, all right, let's put a pattern on this coat, and it'll just kind of draw it over it, but it'll also pick up the shading and the colors from underneath. So that's what we're going to be doing with the tie and probably with the pants. Oh, I think that I'm done for today, though. It was a lot of fun. We finished a coat. uh, yeah. He's, luckily the rest of the bits are all a lot smaller. They're all a lot less complicated. So, I should be able to probably finish up the next bits in the next stream, but you never know. I might want to fetz around with the grayscale on this one also. Or maybe the colors. Might want to brighten it up a bit. It's kind of hard to read all the details, but here it is up close. You can see that like it gets more magenta into the shadow. But yeah, the cool thing about the bitmap, the gradient bitmap, is that it lets you work in grayscale and then just choose the different shadow and highlight colors and mess around with it, which is you just have a lot more versatility than if you went in and did it all by hand. And it makes it really easy to think of like form and shape when you're working in grayscale. Because you don't have to worry about like, oh no, this shadow is the wrong color, or this highlight isn't the right shade. But yeah, it's one of the cool things you can do with digital art. I think that it can add a lot to your process, and it is one of the ways that I do like, I'd say it's the main way in which I do like painterly or like fancy coloring. So yeah, Garaha's jacket, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. I had a lot of fun this time. It was really fun talking movies and spooky stuff. That shit's my jam. And I will be streaming tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. for Savage Raiding. I can't communicate as much during a raid because we're raiding. But I promise you that my guild is hilarious to listen to talk while we get our ass kicked by Pietas. Alright, bye everyone. It was fun.